Great.
Okay, we're live.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
Just 1 second, just checking in.
Great.
Yes, we are live. Yes, hi everyone. Hi everyone. Hope you guys are going to have a great time. My name is Jackie, and I am the director of growth from Litentry. So yeah, Litentry Friends is back. So today we have Jojo and Teun to join us today. Big congratulate to the partnership and also for Litentry winning the Parachute auction. We're very, very excited. It's a joint effort by the team, and thank you all you guys for supporting us in the Parachute auction. And yeah, please show your kindness to Teun and Jojo, and yes, and say welcome them in the chat sections. And yeah, so today's agenda, we will be introducing our partner Phala World to you all. We will be talking about our vision in GameFi, and then they have used a new concept called Play2Build. And yeah, I'm very curious of what it is about. How is it differentiate to normal, play to earn and move to earn? That step in has been, raising a lot of attention recently. And yeah, and also what this partnership mean to both of our team. And please do listen very, very carefully, because there will be a question time. So they will be asking questions. Teun and Jojo will be asking question about what they have explained about during the live stream, and then whoever gets it first will be getting the amazing Phala World NFT whitelist. It's basically an entry ticket for you to get into the Phala World to play the game. And also you'll be receiving $100 USDT for each winners. So yeah, so now please do leave your questions, any question that you have regarding this partnership, regarding your both project in the chat room sections. And yeah, we can start now. And would you like to give us an intro about yourself and the project? I guess we can start from Jojo.
Sure. Hey guys, my name is Jojo, and I am from Phala Network and Phala World. I am on the marketing and operation team. So Phala World is essentially a gamification extension to bring blockchain and Dapp together into the metaverse, which the project is incubated by Phala Network. So some of the mechanism, we actually got inspired from Vitalik's article he published a while ago called SoulBound. So SoulBound is originated from World of Warcraft. So what he mentioned is, so players need to obtain the strongest SoulBound items through contribution, through interaction, rather than spending money to buy them. And at Phala World, we strongly believe in that as well. So we, instead of spending a bunch of money to buy NFTs, certain items in the game, we are actually mapping on-chain and off-chain activities and interactions into the metaverse mini games. And we call this Play2Build. And so Phala World divides the characters in the game into 4 and 5 careers according to the character's contribution to the Phala community. So we combine the soulbound mode to split the NFT to 2 kinds. The first one is Spirit NFT, which is free. You can mint the NFT on Phala World's website once it's launched. I'm sorry, you can claim the NFT once it's launched. And the second one is Shell NFT, which with the amount of 8,888, you can buy it with your Pha token. So through introductions of game modes such as RPG and strategy, we really want to bring the community together. We want to build a sticky community with healthy interactions. And also at the same time, if you guys know what Phala Network does, so Phala World is actually one of the best test field for Phala World, for Phala Network's back contract, which is the decentralized cloud infrastructure. So Phala World is one of the most important projects in the Phala ecology right now.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Jojo. That really sums it up quite well. I'll go ahead with my introduction. So I'm Teun. I have recently joined Litentry as a product manager for my crypto profile, and I was very happy to see the strong team that I found there. So what is my crypto profile actually, and how does it relate to the partnership with Phala? So we're building this proof of concept application. This product launch with Phala is a nice demo of the product we have to offer, and it's an application that aggregates identity, developed by Litentry. It's one of our products, and you can see it as a decentralized Web3 personal data management tool, designs for users to start aggregating and managing their personal data across Web 2 and Web 3 services. So both Web 2 services like Twitter and Discord, but also Web 3 blockchains, all of the EVM chains, all of the Substrate chains, and there's more to be added in the near future. So the design goal of this protocol or management tool is to provide a way for dApps to obtain aggregated user data from different blockchains in a trustless way, while we can also keep that original user identity, your wallet addresses, hidden from being seen by any party aside from the user, the identity owner. So it allows you to start playing with that identity to start bringing identity to Web3. And previously, this was not really possible because everybody was operating as under a pseudonym or anonymous and pretty anonym. But now we can add these characteristics. Now we can add these traits to these personalities that are logging in. So MCP is the first product that is enabling this vision, and it's a version that still will get a lot of incremental updates in the near future, but we're very happy to work together with Phala and bring tangible identity to the Web3 ecosystem.
Thank you so much, especially Jojo. This is the first time we hear about Play2Build this concept, and it's more like I think in my opinion, it's more like bringing this static NFT and static GameFi gameplay, this Ponzi feeling, play to earn motivation to the next level by incorporating more interactions between the physical players and also their digital identity. So you guys are incorporating more like a virtual identity or digital identity to evolving NFT. That kind of concept is really interesting. And I'm just curious about last year we observed the entire GameFi and play to earn concept developed and bloomed over the last year. And is there anything you find very surprising, and what could be improved in your perspective?
Sure. So I'm not an expert whatsoever in the GameFi field, but I can talk about a little bit about my and my team's observation on some of the improvement of GameFi. And I'm sure Teun has more insights of GameFi than me. So some of the improvement we see that can be done in the GameFi industry. The first one is a lot of people have noticed that some of the games have huge lagging time. There's always huge waiting time for finality. The games are really slow paced. The second is there is a high barriers to entry. Sometimes you would see games have really insane transaction fees. Transaction fees are skyrocketing. And also, the inability to assimilate regular gaming communities with GameFi, and also, like I mentioned before, a lot of the games are, more focused on money making than the actual gameplay. So we're actually creating this play to build mode to try to improve and solve these problems. This is why I mentioned, Phala World is the best test field for that contract before. So I think I'm going to emphasize a little bit of that contract here to, explain to you guys how we can improve these things in GameFi industry. So this might get a little bit technical, but just bear with me. I'm going to explain in the most the simplest words to you guys. So that contract is essentially a smart contract based on the Phala privacy contract concept. So some of the advantages we have is the first one is low latency. You don't ever want interaction time, interaction response time in the metaverse or GameFi to be more than a second, right? Nobody has that patience. However, traditional blockchain smart contracts cannot meet the requirement of low latency services. But with that contract, we can actually achieve millisecond level read and write responses, which can be a huge step for the metaverse, to become faster. And also, another advantages of that contract is the high performance computing. So that contract supports vertical and horizontal expansion. It can also provide users with a program execution environment that is close to native CPU performance, expanding along with hardware upgrades. So in an ideal state, the overall throughput of the application can linearly scale as the number of nodes increases. So I think with Phala, that contract and Phala World together, we are trying to improve, some of the things that we see in the GameFi field that we think, just can be better.
Yeah, that's a very good sum up, Jojo. It clearly shows how the Fed contract and is solving many of the GameFi issues that the industry is experiencing now, and that we've also seen in the past year. Everything is pretty early stage. Everybody's experimenting. Everybody's figuring out how it will work, what sticks, how we can attract enough users, and that's also what we see. One of the big topics that we are looking at in terms of GameFi as an identity aggregator is just the amount of data that will be created in these games. It's everybody's like figuring out, do we have to store every transaction on chain, every action that has been taken in the game? Will it be stored on chain? Every power up, every sword you get rewarded, everything you find, everything you do in a game, and that creates a lot of data. So being Litentry, we're looking at how should we process that data? How do we index it? How do we analyze it? And how can we make sure that we can also extract or deliver or put a layer of tangible identity data on top of that data? So as I mentioned, lots of data, we need lots of processing power, we need new ways to index all of that raw blockchain data. And we're finding those solutions, we're looking at those solutions. So you could think of similar ways as sharding is applying, like processing big batches of data in parallel. So that's very interesting for us, this sheer amount of data that's popping up in GameFi. And then what you also mentioned, some of the games, they don't have the fidelity or the experience yet as we might expect from a game. It's not a AAA game yet. It's not super fluent. There's a high latency. So a lot of teams are working on that. And I think behind the scenes, there's also a lot moving in terms of the actual traditional big game producers. Think of EA Games, think of Sony. There's just so much happening. Although we have seen in the past year a bit of a backlash from that traditional gaming community in terms of NFTs, and they might have some good arguments there as well. But over time, we do think that also that traditional gaming community will start understanding that through NFTs, they can own a piece of the ecosystem. Like they are part of the ecosystem and they can share in the upsides. I'm 100% sure, and I think this is also an industry consensus, that behind the scenes, all of the big players, they are working on their next NFT strategy. They are working on their next tokenized economy, in-game tokenized economies. So that's going to be very interesting. Like one news fact to highlight it is that recently, I think it was Epic Games, who the producer behind Fortnite, who just raised 2 billion from Lego and Sony, just to understate how important also the metaverse and diving into the NFT and tokenized economies are for them. So there's big things to come, but it's very, very cool to see then that Phala is ahead of the curve and already experimenting with new type of games, new type of business models, like the play to build idea and the play to build concept.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for answering these questions. I think the people are getting we have more and more people joining the group chat, and yeah. So I think it would be a good time to interact with our audience. So I think each of you can ask one questions that have been covered in your previous answers, and then whoever gets the answer first will be receiving a whitelist, NFT whitelist, and also a $100 airdrop. All right, feel free to ask any questions, Teun or Joe.
Let me see, what could we ask something about? I think
it's the first one. Make it easy.
Can we make it easy? Okay. So we have been talking about GameFi, which is a new emerging technology powered by the crypto ecosystem. But how are the traditional games called that are just of a quite high level? I think I briefly mentioned it. How are traditional top-notch games called? There's a specific title for it.
Could you repeat the question again?
Yeah, so there's a specific title for top-notch traditional games. And I mentioned it, but I don't know if anybody catch it. Maybe this question is a bit hard. It's not that easy, is it?
Okay, I'm gonna leave some time for the audience to think about the questions, and then I'll let Jojo to ask the question.
All right, my question is really simple. If you have paid attention. So in Phala World, there are two kinds of NFTs. What are their names?
Okay. I can see some answers coming up in the chat rooms, and those are AA games. So I think it's Bemtikru who gets it first. So please feel free to leave your Twitter handle or Telegram handle, so I'll DM you after the call for your address for the price. And also I can see some answers as well. I can see Darren Ton who answers Shell NFT and Spirit NFT. Is that correct, Jojo?
Yep.
Okay. Please feel free to send me your Twitter handle or Telegram handle, Darmin Teun. All right, let's continue. So for those who have joined the chat room, so let me explain again. It's a partnership between a DID protocol, Litentry, my crypto profile, and as well as a play-to-build GameFi called Phala World. And for those who didn't understand, like what you get, who just exposed to this concept play to build, could you explain to the people what's play to build and what's the main difference between the traditional GameFi and play to build, Jojo?
Sure. I think play to build is combining on-chain and off-chain activities together into the metaverse. So whatever you do in the real world, you might have an impact in the metaverse game. So for example, Phala World has an in-depth and complete sci-fi story background, so that when players come in, they have this like this community feeling, and then they can dive into our story and truly experience everything in the world. And also like the NFTs you have, the final appearance of your NFT will be depend on, your interaction in the community. For example, maybe like you commented on Phala's Twitter, maybe you are a miner for Phala Network. Everything that happened in the real world matters to the community. Everything that happened in the real world matters in the metaverse as well. So we're able to combine these together actually with MCP. And also, I think another thing I want to mention is, let me think. I'm sorry. My mind just went blank.
It's all right. It's all right.
Give me a second. This is like my first time doing this, so not familiar, quite not familiar with this.
You're doing great.
Thanks. A little bit nervous, but
well, when I was looking at the whole build to play idea that you guys have, like it feels so much more constructive. It feels so much more creative than the GameFis that have come before you, or the GameFi concepts that have come before you. And it's quite obvious, like everybody's trying to be a bit more experimental. Like we start to see what has worked, we start to see what sticks, we start to see what actually could be a bit more durable, and a bit more give a bigger experience than just chasing coins or just chasing monetary value. We've seen recently StepIn pop up, who's also really focusing on that connection between real life and on-chain, or real life and the metaverse. So it's definitely an interesting direction that a lot of companies are taking.
Right. So I remember what I was going to say. So like, for example, you can tell from our Twitter activities, recently, we have a lot of these events that we are, asking, survivors, what we call our users in the Phala World, we call them survivors. We ask survivors to complete certain tasks, or just use their creativity to, for example, we had this recipe contest, which is, name the food or name a recipe that your species might have in Phala World, and we are able to use that recipe or put that recipe into the future gameplay. So this is another example of play to build. The community and the game, we grow together.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot about the Loot ecosystem. Loot is this NFT that had this big run, I think half a year ago, maybe a bit longer. And if you look at that ecosystem right now, it's just full of creatives and full of artists, all expanding this metaverse that is the Loot ecosystem. It's just a cool initiative, and I think these business models will have a way easier. We'll find it way easier to keep the flywheel going instead of just relying on user acquisition just relying on constant user acquisition to keep the game going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very exciting. It's essentially creating a playground for the creators to build things on top of this blank sheets that you offer to the players. They can draw on it, they can write anything on it, and it's going to become a full from bottom to top metaverse going on. And as MCP and Phala World is partnering to build this play to build game. So tell us about the details of the partnership, and what does that mean to users. I think we can start from Teun.
Yeah, sure. So for us, it's mostly it's a very innovative partnership. It's really cool that Phala is going ahead and really trailblazing with this integration of on-chain identity and aggregate identity into their game. So they're using our DID system, but then also integrating it in the NFT in a GameFi. Like they're innovating on multiple sides. So it's an inspirational use case, and we're very happy that we can launch a demo with them. So you will see that a user really gets rewarded for participating in the Phala ecosystem. What does he get in return? Well, he might get the NFT that he's looking for. He might get a higher level up in the game, and it's this making it. It's the making tangible, or how should I phrase it? It's by making his identity tangible that we can actually offer this, or that we can provide this data to Phala so that Phala can determine whether or which NFT and which level a certain user might use. So that there's a great connection there.
Jojo?
Yeah, I can actually explain this partnership in more of a visualized way. So, for example, when a user or when a user first go to PhalaWorld's website that we're going to launch very soon, you will be taken to the registration page with MCP. So where MCP is going to generate the user's aggregated identities. And later on, as I mentioned before, the Spirit NFT is free to claim, but you know, the level of your NFT, the appearance of your NFT, all depends on the interactions you have in the community. So MCP will gather all the data and the user activities for Phala, and we call it like, you know, it's like injecting these data into your profile at Phala World. So, for example, the data come from Twitter, Discord, even GitHub, Polkadot system. So these data will all be valued and will be injected into your profile at Phala World. And after the registration, you become, you know, an official survivor, and you can explore the game, etc.
Okay, got it. So I've got a question from the Twitter comment that kind of related to this partnership, because this partnership is that your virtual identity, your decentralized identity, aggregated by and managed by my crypto profile, can actually affect your Phala World metaverse, your Phala World identity. And you know, the other way around is like, how will my behavior in Phala World metaverse affect your digital identity? So that's coming from Realdo account and Crypto Charmant from Twitter. So I guess Teun can answer that question.
Is he disconnected or something?
I think.
I'm sorry. I saw that I muted because there's some background noise. Let me start again. I'm sorry there. So just to start with, it like a digital identity is not really that it can be very much affected, because it's usually like it's a snapshot. It's a snapshot of your past experiences, all of your activity on chain, and all of the activity that someone might have on chain or have created on chain in the Phala world. They will take it along. They will be able to leverage it and to show it off. And the next time that a snapshot of their digital identity is being shared to another application or to another Dapp. So at that point, you could start showing that there are new data points of you having experience with GameFi, having supported the Phala ecosystem, and being involved with their NFTs. So you should see your digital identity as something that grows and that you momentarily can take snapshots of and share those snapshots with other people in the space or other applications, but also something that you can kind of control and authorize which data and which parts of your identity you actually want to show. It's a little bit similar as in real life. We don't show everything at the first meeting. We kind of choose what we want to tell about ourselves as we grow, as we learn. And that's the way that we want to also allow users to work with their own digital identity. Is that, right. I hope that's an answer to his question.
Yes, that's absolutely is. And thank you for the answer. And could you guys check again whether we are still live stream on YouTube, because I kind of got disconnected.
Let's double check. I've got the screen open here. Yeah, it seems to be going well.
Wow, then it's my browser's problem. Well, I've got disconnected from YouTube. You know, hopefully it's still on live. And yeah, let's continue. And you know, what is the progress right now for this partnership? So you guys are integrating each other, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, and I've checked with the developers yesterday, we are at the point of integrating all of the data. So we're making sure that all of the connections are truthful, that the data that we are collecting of certain accounts, that it exactly matches the data that is also being displayed on, for example, Twitter, GitHub, Discord. We're testing a lot in terms of user experience, whether everybody is able to understand the interfaces, whether the functionality works in different browsers, whether you're using Brave or Chrome. We're making sure that all of the connections work well, because you'll have to connect certain accounts to a Discord bot, or you'll have to tweet a proof that you own a certain Twitter account. So all of those connections have to work quite seamlessly, and our both teams are collaborating on those points as we speak.
Yeah, great. And yeah, so when Phala World or Play2Build to be released, is it going to be a game, or is it a metaverse story, or a game to begin with, and then, you know, moving forward towards a bigger picture of metaverse?
So it's going to be a mini game, and so we think Phala World's model, the Play2Build model, can be copied to, you know, other metaverses or other projects, other NFT projects. So, you know, after releasing the mini games, we are probably going to seek for other partnerships to see if we can, you know, bring this model to you know, combine with other metaverses, or to combine with other projects. And at the same time, we're definitely going to focus on, you know, growing the player bases in the game as well. And we really hope that, you know, Phala World can be something that, you know, fully activate the Phala Network community as well, because the supporters from Phala Network is a lot of them are our early supporters. We want them to, you know, as our slogan is "Come and save the broken world." So, you know, we want them to come and join us, and we want, you know, everyone, every survivor to join us as well.
Got it. Yeah, that sounds very, you know, interesting. You know, you're expanding your world, you know, having more ecosystem partners to join, and also, you know, incorporating the users to build the world for you. And you know, there's a question from Twitter comments, "Oh, Kim not winning," is that I would like to know if there will be something that differentiates it from the rest of the similar projects from the competition. I guess that's both for Teun and Jojo. You know, from the perspective of MCP and Phala World, who is your competitor, and how, you know, you don't have to say like who's a competitor, but like how would you differentiate yourself with other projects?
Yeah, maybe I can start with that question. So the DID space, or the decentralized identity space, it's very broad. And I think all of our competitors, they're also just helping us increase the ecosystem, helping us increase the understanding of the industry towards that, the fact that decentralized identities are really quite important, and then they can become a true stepping stone to have more interesting use cases in the crypto and Web3 space. So how are we trying to differentiate ourselves? We are mostly focusing on the aggregation at this point. We allow people to add their cross-chain identities or their identities that live on different blockchains, on different platforms, including that Web2, those Web2 services. And then you can imagine that you have like a tree or an identity graph, a tree of identities and a tree of accounts that are all connected to each other, but where you can really decide which little part or which leaf of a tree, which leaf of a branch you actually want to show without showing where it comes from. But that's a pretty interesting concept that we're working with, and it allows us to really hide most of the original identities while still leveraging the tangible identity details. And we just try to be very approachable, communicating through APIs and standardized file formats with other partners, which we hope makes us interoperable and just very easy to work with and to implement, even for early stage projects, people or communities that want to experiment with profiling their audience, getting to know their audience better, getting a better understanding of who's actually signing up, or as Phala is doing, making sure that the people who are supporting you the most also get the most benefits, and that you can create that win-win. But as well, like the stage we are at now together with Phala, it's for us a product demo, and we hope to start learning more about the product and how we can really offer something that is unique to the market, or that really sticks in the market. We hope to improve our user experience. We hope to improve the depth of our privacy preservation in the future. So there's a lot of ideas and directions ongoing in the background as well.
Got it. And Jojo?
I think Teun explained most of it. He covered most of, the benefit for both projects. I think because we're still in very early stage of the project developing, and we don't quite see any similar projects that is on the market, especially the play-to-build model. So I think MCP can, really help us with truly identify what, interaction and activities that are valid and are, that are valuable to the community. And we can bring that into play-to-build. We can bring that to the metaverse, to Phala World's game. I think that is one thing that we can mutually benefit from. I think that is what I can tell right now.
All right, thank you. And next question is from also the community. It's about, everybody has been curious about the NFT. They wanted to know this, could you tell us a bit more about the use case of the NFT? Where would it be available? Is it going to be on Ethereum, or is it going to be on Polkadot?
Sure. So our NFT will be available sometimes next month, probably early next month in May. And since we have two kinds of NFT, we have the Shell NFT and we have the Spirit NFT. So Spirit is your identity on chain, right? And Shell is your appearance of your appearance of the characters in Phala World's game. So when the two NFTs are combined together, you can use them to play games, enter Phala World, to upgrade, to gain experiences, and you can, in the future, we want to combine with other projects in metaverse as well. So another thing is we actually have another NFT that is called Seal. But that is something, when you have special achievement, we will provide you the Seal NFT as well. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, excited. Look forward to it. And then I think we spoke quite a lot. And yeah, so let's have Teun and Jojo to ask another question to the community. Let us check that if you guys are paying attention. I guess to start from Jojo.
Sure. Let me think. So I mentioned before that we have a product in Phala Network that is very important for building Phala World. What is the name of the product?
Right. There's a little bit of lag on the chat, so I guess users will need a little bit of time to.
So I guess Teun, you can follow up with your questions. So we'll wait for the answers from the community.
Sure. So there's a little piece of technology or a little concept that we are implementing in my crypto profile. I called it, one of the metaphors I used was an identity tree, but I also said something else. I'm wondering if anybody catched the term I used there. It was an identity ... You can fill in the dots.
All right, let's have a look at the answers. So we have the first one saying fat contracts, PHAT contracts. So we have the second one called fat contract. So which one is correct?
Fat contract is correct.
Which one is the PH1 or F1?
F.
Okay, so Joseph Chan gets it right. Hi, Joseph Chan. Feel free to send me your Twitter handles with brackets on it. And yeah, so we have answers coming up for Teun's question. We have, again, Bem Tikru said DID. Is that correct?
And it's not correct yet. Maybe it was a hard question. I don't know if.
Would you like to repeat?
Yeah, I can repeat. So what we're actually trying to build is a link of all of your identities. And there might be one public address that all of your identities is hidden, other identities are hidden behind. And this tree of identities, we're calling it the identity graph. So it's a mini database of all of the identities that you have connected together. So for now, nobody has given the right answer, but maybe we can do another one. Is there any topic we would still like to discuss while I look for a question?
Yeah. So let me go through the live chat, and then I'll pick a question for you guys. So whoever's question got picked by me would also get a whitelist from Phala World and also the airdrop. Okay. Okay, feel free to ask any question now, Teun or the audience. So whoever gets it picked by me will be getting a whitelist.
So quick question: how is the NFT ecosystem called that is relying on their community to create the metaverse that I've just mentioned? I think this should be pretty easy.
Okay, let's wait for the answers for that. And meanwhile, I have a question from the live chat. As a Chinese character, San Qian, ask what mechanisms does Litentry take to protect the game from front-end robots? I think that's a really good question.
That's indeed a good question. Well, I think front-end robots, you will have to create a MyCrypto profile before you are able to log in. So that process itself it's not super straightforward. So I think bots will definitely have some problems with that. They will also need to have authentic accounts to be able to create a MyCrypto profile. For a good account, for a good MyCrypto profile account that actually shows relevant participation in the Phala ecosystem, you will need to have a Twitter account that might have tweeted about Phala. Sometimes you might need to have a Substrate or a Polkadot account that has contributed to the Phala crowd loan. So these are all elements that are not easy to fake or not easy to game or to cheat on. So that will be a big improvement as well in those terms.
Okay. Yeah. So can you have a look at the live chat sections if anyone gets it correct for your question, Teun?
Yeah. So far, not yet. So I'll repeat the question. So, what is the famous NFT project that started about half to a year ago and is relying on its community to build the metaverse? So where a lot of creatives and creators are working together. If you can give me the name of that NFT ecosystem, then you'll win the whitelist.
All right. So far we haven't got any correct answer yet. So I'll keep browsing the questions from the live chat sections, and then I'll asking you guys.
Here we go.
Okay, I got one. I've got one from Ben Tikru again. So he got a question from Jojo. Bruno from RMRK mentioned a big Phala World NFT project to collaborate. Is that Phala World? Is that something that we can disclose?
Maybe not on this.
Okay. Yes. So I've got another one. Don't worry, I've got another one.
I also see that the right answer has been posted by now. So I think Joseph Chan was the first one. It was the loot ecosystem.
Okay, Joseph Chan. Okay, Joseph Chan, please send us your Twitter handle. And yeah, so got another question. What information will be read from the social account? What access do you need to grant to Phala? And will the data be used for other purpose? That's a security question from Champa.
Yeah, very good question. So currently we are only using public data. So that's the most interesting part about blockchain. Like, because we are storing all of our history and the actions and transactions that we've done already on public databases, it's available for everyone, but we just don't know who it is, right? It's hidden in the dark forest, and that's how we also want to keep it at this point. So we might get access to your Twitter account, and we can only read the public tweets. So we can only read what you have already sent out in public. And we don't even store that data. We just only store the location where that data is. And as soon as Phala wants to check whether or not you have participated in the ecosystem, quite often, we do a live fetching of that data. So we go and check if that data exists on the public databases. And then Phala only receives, yes, this user might have, or yes, this user has sent a tweet about Phala. So we're doing a live fetching of data, and we're not storing any data. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I think that really answers the questions. I've got, I think, the final questions from the community. Jammer Original, will the spirit be transferable between new games? I'm assuming that games that are on Polkadot ecosystem, or their games are built by Phala, then as it's your profile in a sense.
So Spirit NFT is not transferable. But shell NFT, you can transfer to others, and it's actually tradable. But if he's referring to other games in metaverse, I would say the project is still in a very early stage, and we are definitely going to see what we can do, or what we can integrate with other projects as well with our NFTs.
All right. Yes. Is there any question that you find very interesting in the live chat? Teun, Jojo?
Yeah, I'm trying to go through it. There's a lot of stuff happening. What we will also do is, if it's possible, is download this live chat and use all the questions that the community has asked and translate them into frequently asked questions. So people might find an answer on their questions in Gitbook at a later stage. I'm looking if I can find something interesting. So yeah, there's a good question. Is the information collected available on chain forever, or it does not count anymore? For example, when a user Twitter's account gets deleted. So I'm going to answer this question as the following. You can always delete your own accounts. The accounts that you have created in MCP, you're always free to delete them, to break the links between them. So you're forever in full control. And this is something we value highly. So any type of sharing of information, you will have to authorize, and any type of storage of the metadata to the place where we get the actual data, you can also delete that. So you can delete your accounts, and you will also authorize when you give information. I hope that covers any concerns there.
Who had that question?
I saw that question from Dark Sparkles.
Okay, Dark Sparkles, please send us your Twitter handle. We'll be giving you the NFT from Phala World. Thank you so much. And I guess, one last question from Teun or Jojo, for the community. We just select one winners.
Do you have a question, Jojo?
Can't think of a good one. I feel like my previous ones were really easy. Oh, I have another one, but it's probably easy as well if you paid attention. So where does this SoulBound concept come from?
Okay, could you repeat the question?
Where did the SoulBound concept come from?
Okay, where did this SoulBound concept come from? If you're paying attention, you should be gets it right away. So there is like a 20-second lag. So yeah, we would have expected answers in 20 seconds.
I also want to congratulate Phala on the artwork of Phala World. I've been seeing it pass by. It's really interesting. I'm looking forward to actually play with those characters.
Right. It's really cool, right? Really high definition.
Yeah, it's really cool artwork.
Yeah, so I've got some answers coming. Joseph Chan, wow, World of Warcraft. Dark Sparkles, World of Warcraft. Is that correct? Or
yeah.
Vitalik?
Actually, both are correct, because it was from Vitalik's article, but his concept actually came from World of Warcraft.
Okay, so I think Joseph and Chris BCK gets it correct. Congratulations, and yeah, feel free to send your Twitter handle to the live chat sections. If you're not able to do so, please send it to Jackie@Litentry.com. Please feel free to remember to take a screenshot of your YouTube profile as well. So I'll DM you tomorrow for your address for the whitelist, NFT whitelist, and also the airdrop. And yeah, so I guess that's all. Thank you so much for joining, Jojo. Thank you so much for joining, Teun. And look forward. So can't wait to see the actual gameplay looks like. And thank you so much for joining, Litentry people. Let's see you guys in our next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you for having.
guys. Cheers.